Tutu Nation. Main Event TV, aka Me TV, aka the NBA is now NBA Jam. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you know you got to pick 2 out of 3 All-Stars per team at these days just to play. That's what it comes down to. You have to be kidding me. There is no way that the NBA can survive this way. And I told you guys before, this is going to be the downfall. It eventually is. Now, we're going to talk about this, all right? Now, guys, you said you didn't want to hear any more about the NBA, which is why I took a week off of doing sports, because there really wasn't any news. It was slow news. You know, you guys said you were ready for the NFL. I'm ready for the NFL too, all right? But now all these big moves are being made, we have to talk about this. We just have to, okay? So let's start with this, all right? First off, I want to start with the Philadelphia 76ers, okay? Now, first off, the draft was horrible. Absolutely horrible. First off, you go and you get this kid. You draft this kid at a 15th pick, all right? He's 6'8", 207, 208 pounds. That's a walking stick. That's what that is, all right? He's a walking stick. Now, here's the thing. They say he plays like Andre Iguodala. No. If you watch this kid, he plays more like Thad Young, all right? Let's get that straight. So I'll put it like this. During the draft, they did try to trade Andre Iguodala, all right? They tried to get him for Rudy Gay, and the deal fell through. So that goes to show you that Iguodala's on his way out the door if somebody will take him. It's just, you know what, teams don't want to take that bloated contract. That's what it comes down to. All right, now, we'll put it like this. You go and you get this kid. Then you go and trade Miami for picks, you know what I mean, so you can bring this guy over who's a power forward / I guess you would say center at times, all right, depending if you run a small team or a big team, depending, all right. Now, that's a better pick as opposed to the 15th pick that you had. It makes no sense to me why you would do something like this. And then you go around and you give Elton Brand amnesty, you know, to get him pretty much to save that money. Now, I'll put it like this. Understand this. Elton Brand is your only guy who can bang in the paint. Don't you understand that? That makes no sense at all. All right? Elton Brand is the only guy. If you think that Tony Batiste can put in all those minutes to bang in the paint, you're crazy. If you think Elson, who they picked up out of nowhere last season because they didn't have anybody banging in the paint, is going to be there next season, you're crazy as well, all right? And everyone keeps saying, oh, let Lavoy Allen have a chance. If you watched Lavoy Allen last year, his best game, his highlights were mid-range jump shots because he can knock them down. I'm not going to take that away from him. You keep him there because it is consistent. He can do it. But we don't have any big guys who can get dirty. Don't you understand that? All right, you look at Lavoy Allen. Mid-range jump shooter, very good at it, all right? You got Vucevic, who they try to treat like the next Dirk, and he's not, all right? Did he even play in the playoffs? Not really, all right? But what does he do? Like to hang around the 3-key and shoot and carrying on. He's a bum, all right? He's a waste of time if you ask me, all right? And then you go and re-sign Halls, which makes no sense to me. No one likes the move that you re-sign Halls, but he isn't banging the paint either. He likes to shoot threes. So you got 3 big men who shoot. That's what you got, all right? And I'm just so tired of hearing this. You have to give Elton Brand a place. You have to take him off the market. You have to. I understand money aspect-wise, that's what you're trying to do, but you don't have anybody who wants to bang in the paint. You just don't. So next season, if you don't make any moves from here on out, I'm telling you now, Sixers, we're going to have to hear Malik Rose again, but they're young. You got to give them a chance. Nah, we're done with that, all right? Understand that if you're going to keep saying they're young, you're saying that they're inexperienced. And people do not want to hear that anymore. Don't you understand that? It makes no sense to me why you would make these moves. I told you, go get Al Jefferson. But you're sitting on your hands like, we don't want to spend the money. We don't know what we want to do. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, all right? But then afterwards, you get rid of Lou Williams, which is horrible, all right? Because he was your best three-point shooter last year and arguably your best clutch guy. Now, a lot of people say best three-point shooter. Yes, because Jody Meeks didn't do his job. You understand that, right? So, as far as I'm concerned, he's your best three-point shooter and, like I said, your best clutch guy in situations. You got rid of him. I don't understand what's going on here with this shakeup, but it's not working well for the Sixers. And especially when you have all these other teams making all these moves. All right, now put it like this. The Brooklyn Nets, I don't think I'll ever get to, get used to calling them the Brooklyn Nets, but whatever. They made a ton of moves, right? Okay, you have the New York Knicks, who made a bunch of moves. You have the LA Lakers, who made some moves. You have the Phoenix Suns, who, as we all know, they are going nuts over in Phoenix right now. We also have the Miami Heat and Ray Allen situation, which we know that's a big move. All these teams in Orlando, you have to understand, with the Dwight Howard trade that's trying to get moved, all right, you have so many teams involved. It makes no sense, all right? First off, why would you even give Dwight Howard the time of day? I understand everyone say, well, he's a great presence and a force and things of that nature. Yes, but he's also a team killer. Did we not see last season he got his coach fired, right? He sat here and said he held pretty much the team hostage, all right, because he didn't know what he wanted to do. He wanted to stay in Orlando. He wanted to go. He didn't know what he wanted. Then he wanted to say that people are setting him up and it's a conspiracy. Look, the guy is a diva. Why would you even take the chance? It's obvious this guy wants to go to Brooklyn. It's obvious. Or LA. He's already said he wants to go to LA. He wants to go to a big market team where there are already stars involved. Don't you understand that? Meaning, he doesn't want to play, and be the man in the team. No, he wants to pretty much be on an all-star team. That's the problem these days that we have noticed. A lot of people are upset this week because it seems like athletes these days are taking shortcuts. All right, we're not talking about age if you're older or whatever. I'm not talking about that. We're talking young guys who are still in their prime who want to join together and play on big-time teams and win multiple rings instead of working hard. You can't do that. Dwight played a lot in Orlando. I understand that, but there's a reason why Dwight is the guy. If Orlando lets him up for nothing pretty much, you might as well fold that team. And I hate to say that because there are some diehard Magic fans, and they've already said they're going to stick with their team if Dwight stays or goes. All right, but understand you need to get something for him. I mean, some big pieces for him. He is an all-star. As much as I don't like Dwight Howard, I am very well aware of what he can do. All right, but you have to understand that you need to get something for him. And the thing is, the people who are really spearheading this, actually, what's funny, is Dan Gilbert. That's right, Cleveland Cavaliers Dan Gilbert, because he's trying to make sure that Dwight Howard goes to Brooklyn instead of LA. Why? Because he wants some type of competition for Miami. That's what this comes down to. And you know what? If Dwight goes to Brooklyn, that's exactly what it's going to look like. It's going to look very spiteful. It is. All right? But you have to understand, Cleveland needs to work on their own pieces. I'm not trying to hear Cleveland is interested in Chris Humphries. Come on now, Chris Humphries. Come on. Look, you got one of the best players in the league right now, Dan Gilbert, with Kyrie Irving. You build around him, all right? You get him the pieces he needs. Don't make this another LeBron situation, all right? You give him the pieces that you need. But it's crazy because LA is re-up and reloading, as we all know. Steve Nash, which I understand Suns fans are pissed. They have every right to be pissed because Steve Nash came out and said he wants to be a Phoenix Sun for the rest of his career and then goes right to a rival. Goes right to a rival in LA. We all know, if you've been watching basketball, we know exactly what it comes down to with Phoenix and LA. We've seen the times where Kobe is, jawed with Nash and kind of, we've seen all this before, all right? And then to go to LA, Phoenix Suns fans are pissed. Matter of fact, they feel betrayed so much that they started burning Steve Nash's jersey.
All right, this is my Steve Nash jersey. As you can see, Nash number 13. Got traded to the Lakers yesterday. After all these years in Phoenix, he could have chosen any other team, but he chose the Lakers. So this is what I think of Steve Nash, and this is what I'm doing to his jersey. Here it goes.
We're about to burn Nash's jersey right now.
Hey, can we get a chant going? TV. Hey, get out of the light, get out of the light.
Be careful with that shit. It'll light up. Yeah, that shit's gonna light up real quick.
Do it from the bottom. Be careful, because that's gonna light up fast.
Hey, watch out, Xavier.
There you go. Woo!
Show the Nash, show the Nash.
Watch Nash come back to Sun. Yeah.
But that's not all. Now that we know what's going on in Boston, Miami, Boston fans are very upset. I can understand why they're very upset because you have to realize Ray Allen is going to the Miami Heat. And they're upset because not only because Ray Allen's leaving, but the fact that how the playoffs ended between Boston and the Miami Heat. So much that now they're calling him Judas Shuttlesworth. I mean, seriously, Judas... You gotta be kidding me. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. But Boston fans, I understand why you're mad, but you really do have to calm down. However, a Boston blogger is saying now that there's a simulated image of Ray Allen's jersey being burned. Now, this Boston writer goes on saying how there shouldn't even be a simulated image of Ray Allen's jersey being burned. He's done so much here for Boston. You're not a real fan if you burn his jersey. Blah, 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 pretty much. But what he fails to realize is that sports fans, we don't care what the media thinks. They do what they want. And afterwards, guess what? Fans started really burning his jersey. Now, Boston fans, I understand how you feel, but also understand Ray Allen did get you a championship. He did. So that's why a lot of people are saying you should respect him and just move on. He wants another shot at a ring. And a lot of people are saying, Boston fans are saying, what do you mean another shot at a ring? They still have a shot, this upcoming season, but he decided to leave. So I definitely understand two sides of the argument. You know what I mean? I put it like this. The guy gave you a championship. He did. He helped you get a championship. I feel it's wrong of him to go to Miami as well. I do. Because, like I said, Miami is just, at this point, they are the new world order. They might as well, just that clip, they might as well just add Ray Allen into it now at this point. And it seems like a lot of teams these days are just getting big-time stars. And you know what? I said this question to you guys on Twitter. I'll say it here as well. Do you feel that small market teams, are they not spending the money, or do they really can't contend? Which one is it? Because I understand how hard it's going to be to bring players to small market teams, but can they really contend or not? Because if they can't contend, then I think David Stern needs to step in and do something about this. If that's the case, you might as well have just a 16 playoff and call it a day, all right? Because the rest of these teams, they're just running around at this point. It's not going to matter. You get what I'm saying? So as far as I'm concerned, something needs to be done about it. Now, I do want to move on because I want to talk Euro 2012 real quick. Now, I can't show you the clips because apparently you guys saw what happened last time, all right? They wouldn't let me show you the kickoff, you know, I would say the penalty kicks. But I put it like this. This time, because it was a finals, they won't let me show you anything, all right? And as we all know, Spain beat Italy. And you know what? As far as I'm concerned, it's fine. Congratulations to Spain. Italy, you know, they got tired at the end, as you can see. And as we all know, Balotelli, he pushed his own coach before walking out. Wouldn't shake hands or anything. I think that was pretty bad sportsmanship. However, I did get a chance to see the U.S. women's national team play Canada. And the weirdest thing happened with Canada. So I'm telling you now, Canadians, this may hurt you a little bit. I'm just saying. But I'm sure you've already seen this by now. So let's see exactly what happens with Team Canada.
Box. Rubino all alone out on the right hand side. Now going over to Mino. It's a wonderful. And he crosses his own goal. Carolina Moscato with that terrific challenge moments ago against Abby Wambach. But she couldn't deal with that cross. And she pokes it left footed into her own net. And the US take a 1-0 lead.
Well, it's good service in a dangerous area. Right in between a goalkeeper and a defender, with a defender sprinting at his goalkeeper, and this is just lack of communication. As a goalkeeper, you need to be screaming early as loud as you can that that's your ball, and the crowd could.
Like I said, man, that has got to hurt. But I put it like this. I want to give Canadians credit because they didn't react like a couple, was it some years ago? Was it in the World Cup when when Colombia played and the guy scored on his own goal? They killed him. They shot and killed him. They shot him like 16 times and killed that guy. You know what I mean? So Canadians, I'm going to give you some credit for, you know, holding back. So, yeah, I know it's tough to watch, though. Now, I do want to move on. I do want to talk about the Olympics real quick. The Olympics is coming up. I will definitely be covering it. But I want to put it like this. I don't understand. What is the point in gymnastics of a spotter if you're not paying attention?
There are others. So they showed some movement, but that right there, that's a 4 point. She'll lose the elements as well. It's about a 1.5 points off.
I was going to say, after these championships and her injury, she's really only had 1 week of practice where she's been able to do full routines. Not a lot of time.
I tell you though, she had looked great in training. She started fantastic on her first event, the ball, her signature like that.
The U.S. has a lot of work to do, especially in gymnastics, but that's not all. Also in track and field, I don't understand how these guys can get this far to an Olympic qualifier and all of a sudden can't stay in stride.
And on the way in the 400-meter hurdle final, here's the first hurdle. And Angela Taylor's off to a fast start. And Angela Taylor is really motoring down that back stretch. And now here comes Karan Clement as well, where Sean Jackson has to stay in his battle. So Angela Taylor's in front. Clement and Jackson are there together. They're into the turn for home, and Angela Taylor has the lead. Now Clement is starting to gain it. Batman Jackson turning it on as they come to the home straightaway. Here's Angela Taylor, he's one out in front. Angela Taylor over the penultimate hurdle has stumbled and lost his balance. Now trying to get it back together. Taylor running out of gas. Tinsley goes by him. Taylor is there. Jackson struggling as they come to the line. Jackson falling and Clement coming across. That was a wild finish in the 400 hurdle.
To say the least, last year at the National Championships, there were guys falling across the line. And this year, Angelo Taylor absolutely fell apart coming home because he got out of his stride pattern and could not get back in. He hangs on for second, but look at Angelo Taylor here. He comes on from the turn, and he has a huge lead, but then after hitting Purple 9, look at all the problems he has for 10. He has to back off, and that opens the door for Tinsley, who goes right by. And now look at the fight for third, as Batman just falls short, and Karan Clement, despite a limited season, makes the Olympic team. And Rashawn Batman Jackson, the agony of defeat in fourth by 0.05 of a second. He is off of the U.S. Olympic team.
Now here's the problem I have with this race, all right? Not only because of the stride and rhythm, we saw just how big of a lead that guy had on everyone else. But the guy who actually won now qualifies to be in the Olympics. But it feels like he only won due to someone else's mistake. Not because he's competing at a high level, because if that was the case, they would have been neck and neck. This guy was getting blown away, all right? Understand that you cannot bank on other countries' runners making mistakes when it comes to the Olympics. It doesn't happen much, all right? So I'll put it like this. There's going to be some serious problems with the U.S. track and field team. They have to get it together when it comes to their hurdles. I'm just saying, they have to. Now, I want to move on because I need to talk about the baseball, this home run derby last night, all right? It was just pandemonium what happened. For those who know, first off, the home run derby, it sucked. It sucked. It did. Come on, let's call it what it is. A lot of people were complaining about Chris Berman's commentary. They just had to turn the channel. I definitely understand that, all right? Just back. It's horrible. It gets old, too, all right? But that's not all. What we saw last night with Robinson Cano, all right? He went 0 for 10. That's right, 0 for 10 when it came to the home run derby, and the crowd is cheering, all right? Yankees fans get mad because they're saying, oh, classless, Royals fans, Kansas City Royals fans. It's not just Royals fans. Once you understand, it's a home run derby. It's an all-star, pretty much it's their all-star weekend in the middle of the week, all right? But you have to understand, every other team's fans are there. Don't you understand that? So you're going to have rivals who cheer. You're going to have people who don't like you cheer that you messed up. Understand, Yankees fans, there's so many other fans in the stadium, you can't just pin this all on Royals fans. However, it goes to show you that nobody, and I mean nobody, in Major League Baseball likes you. Nobody, all right? You have to understand that. So pretty much, you're against all odds. And you shouldn't be complaining at this point because we all know how Yankees fans, it's not all of you, it's not, but we know how a lot of Yankees fans act. So that's all that needs to be said, all right? You can't sit here and call you Royals fans classless when you have a ton of other fans in the stadium cheering. You can't do that. That's just wrong, all right? But I'll put it like this also. ESPN tried so hard to get us to like Matt Kemp last night. Matt Kemp hit 1 out of 10, all right? Outs. He hit 1 home run throughout the whole derby. And they're like, you should respect Matt Kemp. It's a home run derby. You hit 1. You hit 1. I don't understand this. What should we respect? I don't get this. And what did I say last night, guys, before the derby started? If you pull the ball to the left, all right, and that goes from right-handed batters pulling to one side, left-handed batters pulling to one side, guess what's going to happen? You're going to see a lot of home runs last night. And that's all they did last night. They pulled to the sides because, as we all know, the center of Kansas City is actually deeper. But because it's so warm out there, they said earlier that the ball would travel 4 feet high, farther. All right, so understand there's a lot of balls being pulled to either side and not into the center. Just saying. There were some, but not as many if you go for the total counts when it comes to going side to side. Just saying. Now I want to move on. I need to talk about TNA Wrestling. I want to say congratulations to Austin Aries for winning the World Heavyweight Championship. It is good to see a guy from Ring of Honor, all right, win a title. You have to understand, first off, I'll put it like this. When it comes to WWE or TNA or whatever, the people who benefit the most out of this are Ring of Honor. You got CM Punk as a world champion. You got Drag over there, competing with him. You have Claudio is now on SmackDown. You have Austin Aries over there on TNA as the world champion. You got Kenny King who just came in. You have to understand, there's a ton of people. Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles. You have so many guys who were in Ring of Honor before they came up into these big, these big type of, should we say, franchises or, organizations. And it goes to show you that is the future. There's, the days of being 6'9", 300 pounds is over because you're looking for entertainment. You're looking for athletics, all right? When you got somebody like the Great Khali walking around, he can barely walk, but you're still keeping him on roster because he's a dominant force when he wants to be. You know what I mean? That gets old. You need guys who can actually be athletic. It was great to see Austin Aries win, you know, a double. And I remember when he started, when he was in CZW, all right, when he was like 150 pounds, all right? So it's great to see, you know, how far he's come. You know, he's earned it, you know what I mean? And the match actually was really good. Now, I'll put like this, matches, all right, we'll talk about this. Spotted Night goes to Sanjay Dutt, all right, because for those who didn't see it, he does a backflip off the turnbuckle into a double heel smash. Great move, all right? Doesn't even know where his guy's at. He's complete trust in the guy who's on the ground because he has to get into the right position, you know, to help him out there so he doesn't make himself look like jackass, you know what I mean? And so it looked great, all right? So credit to both wrestlers on that part. Ultimate X, to me, was a travesty. It was horrible, you know what I mean? It really was. At one point, they had to pull Sanjay Dutt up because they thought he was hurt, and then they allowed him back in. Kenny King didn't really do much. There weren't really that many spots. I mean, at this point, and I understand you don't want to go too many high spots. I mean, you got to think these guys are 20 feet up in the air. You don't want them to hurt themselves, you know what I mean? But you want to have the other guy win. I forgot his name. That quick, I forgot his name. Yeah, because, you know, he was, at one point, he was supposed to be like the alternate to Sin Cara or whatever. So, but now they let him have this like heelish role. I understand why he won. He's a heel. People don't like him. The crowd was jawing at him the entire time after he won the title and he was trying to do the interview. It was pretty funny. All right. There were so many, you know what? Also, I have to talk about this. Daniels and Styles. Now, it's a last man standing match. I have to put it like this. This has to stop, all right? Because every time they get together, it's always this talk of, this is our last match we'll do. This is our last. Just a couple months ago, they were talking about, this will be the last time you see Daniels and Styles face off one-on-one. And here we go again, them facing off one-on-one. Look, just let it go, all right? You want them to wrestle, that's fine, but stop trying to bill it as this will be the last ever, you know what? No, all right? We know what we're getting with Daniels and Styles. They're two great wrestlers. They're good friends in real life. We know how this goes. Of course, they're heel and face at this point, you know, in their career, you know, going against each other, but it doesn't matter. I would like to see more of Daniels winning between these two. I mean, really, to make it a little bit more even, but AJ Styles is the man. You can't deny it. You get what I'm saying? It's just... I just don't understand the way TNA did things. You know, certain things they did, I didn't understand. I was happy to see that, you know, Destination X was one of the better pay-per-views, you know what I mean? Because it focused on more, you know, fast acrobatics, and that's what people want to see. They want to see athletics, you know what I mean? And I'll put it like this, also, Kurt Angle versus Samoa Joe was really good, all right, until we started to see the, you know, the spam fest when it came to submissions, all right? However, it was pretty good. Kurt Angle looked in great shape, all right? I think he's back on the junk as far as I'm concerned. Samoa Joe held his own as usual. He showed that he can still work a match. I mean, it was good. It was, I mean, you really can't do anything about this. And this is what makes it great about A double winning the title, because now that he will be the underdog, all right? They keep holding that title. Now you got Joe who won, you got James Storm, you got all these guys who are actually bigger, physically more stronger. A double is going to have to, you know, raise his game. It would be great to see, you know, a lot of brain busters being used. It was great to see, you know, the trade-off between him and, was it Robert Roode? I'm not going to call him Bobby Roode. Robert Roode, to see how they traded off, especially near the end. It was really nice the way they did things, all right? And in the beginning, how they showed the mind games going on, the way they were taunting each other, was very nice as well. This was a pretty good pay-per-view as far as I'm concerned. I would tune into the next one just to see how things go. But, you know, especially, I'll put it like this. You saw how Raw was last night. And Raw was pretty damn bad, all right? The only thing I'll give Raw credit was they didn't put John Cena and them at the end of the, you know, of the match. However, I will put it like this. I am getting sick and tired of seeing AJ come out between CM Punk and Daniel Bryan. Look, we all know AJ's cute. She's hot. Whatever the hell you want to call her, fine, whatever. But guess what? The storyline does not need to go this way. Let Bryan, you know, Daniel Bryan and CM Punk just beat the hell out of each other. That's what we want to see. All right, that's exactly. We don't want to see them fighting over a girl. We don't. All right, it's just stupid. All right, and I put it like this. Shout outs to Bob Backlund because he came out last night and put the chicken wing on. It was funny to see. It really was. That's the only reason why I'm tuning in the Raw at this point, to see all the old legends come back. We saw Sid come back. We saw Vader come back. Roddy Piper come back. We seen all these guys. And Sid looked pretty damn good for a guy who broke his leg pretty much in half. All right, so it goes to show you DDP came back and the Diamond Cutter, like. I'm watching Raw just to see these guys, you know what I mean? But that's it. These guys really have nothing to, you know, to deal with. We saw last night Sin Cara beat Slater, which was a nice move he finished him with, but that was it. It wasn't great, all right? These matches aren't that good, if you ask me. They just aren't, all right? It seems like SmackDown has a little bit more potential than Raw does at this point, you know, but it is what it is. There's way too many speaking segments as far as I'm concerned when it comes to wrestling. They need to dumb it down a little bit so that, you know what I mean, that you can actually get into these. And I want to put it like this, because Michael Cole said something that was really interesting last night, all right? People don't want to see Michael Cole in a ring, right? They say that he's, you know, he's a mockery of wrestling, you know, stick to commentating, don't go in the ring. And yet, people voted for him to wrestle. Now, I'll put it like this. A lot of people have said online that these polls are rigged. You know, you really don't have any power. I don't know how true that is or not, but that's what it seems like, all right? Because I really doubt that guys who are sitting here and seeing this wrestling are voting that, you know, we want Michael Cole in the ring because he spilled some water on on Jerry the King Lawler. That doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't. And then to have Hornswoggle on the thing, which I am so tired of seeing this dude. This dude's gimmick should have been gone months, maybe a year ago, all right? After the whole thing that blew up with him and Chavo, that should have been it. That was it, all right? They don't have anything for him to do. That's what it is. And they're trying to keep him in the spotlight. You know what I mean? But still, also, someone take this jackass off my TV. I have to keep turning TV now because I'm tired of seeing this dude dance. I really mean, y'all know who I'm talking about. This dude, the Funkasaurus or whatever, this dude needs to go. Brodus Clay, he needs to go, all right? Either make him a serious character because he has the power to do so. You make him a serious guy. We don't need to see Rikishi 2.0 bringing out the kids and dancing. No one cares. Nobody cares, all right? I understand it's supposed to be, you know, have a good time and dance. It gets old quick. That's why when Big Show, you know, a couple weeks ago punched him in the face, I was like, yeah, it needs to be done because people are getting tired of that. They're getting tired of it. As far as I'm concerned, Raw was a wash once again. You know, you try to tune in before the pay-per-view's coming up and on the night after the pay-per-view's coming up. You know, next week is the pay-per-view. Then, was it that Monday or something? The Rock is supposed to be. Is it supposed to be The Rock? All these guys are supposed to be there. Lesnar, The Rock, all these people. So, we'll see what happens, all right? But now that Raw is extending itself to 3 hours, I don't know if I'm going to sit and watch 3 hours of wrestling, especially as bad as the 2 hours. Well, you got to fix 2 hours first before you decide to extend it. I'm just saying, you have to. But whatever. Anyways, I'm done for the day. You know what? No, I'm not done for the day. I have another video to do. I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. I'm out.